Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Dominique and today's practice will be a body weight mat Pilates flow in which we will focus on slow, intentional movement. The emphasis on this practice will be mindfulness and body connection to help us cultivate strength, stability, and awareness. As we move throughout the flow, I invite you to listen to your body, honor your limits, and explore your capabilities. Today, let's create the intention to explore and enjoy the journey of movement. Once you are ready and you have your mat laid out, we'll turn towards the front. You can go ahead and bring your feet the width of the mat. Hands can come behind the legs as you round through the back and roll yourself down. Once your back is on the earth, arms alongside the body, and walk the feet a little bit closer towards the glutes, but keep the feet wide. Knees knock in towards one another and just find a relaxed state here. We'll take a few moments to bring awareness to our breath. And it's up to you if you would like to keep the arms alongside the body or if you want to bring one hand to the chest and the other to the navel space. Notice the rise and fall of the belly with the inhales and exhales. And shift your awareness to where you are in space. Perhaps you notice the feet pressed against the mat, the clothes pressed against your skin, or how it feels as the breath enters and exits the body. Then wherever you are in your breath cycle, empty the breath completely. Together we inhale through the nose. Open mouth, sigh. Two more, in through the nose. Open mouth, sigh. Last one, inhale. Exhale, release. Find a natural cadence with the breath. If eyes found their way closed, begin to flutter them open. Then release the knees from one another and start to heel toe the feet so they are in line with the hips. If your hands are on your body, you'll release them alongside. And we'll start with some pelvic tilts here, so make sure there's engagement through your arms. And then you'll press low back into the earth as you tilt the pelvis up. Imagine you're trying to take your pelvic bone towards your chin, then release. We'll do that again. Press the low back into the mat, engage the abdomen, and release. Keep flowing through that. It's a very gentle warm up here. Perhaps you close your eyes and focus on the muscles that are working. We have a few more and then we'll move into a roll up into a bridge. Take your time. There's no rush as we move throughout the practice today. And notice as you tilt the pelvis, are you engaging through the inner thighs? If not, zip it in. We have one more. So now we'll take it a little bit further this time. Roll yourself up vertebrae by vertebrae until you're in a bridge. Once you're at the top, reverse, roll yourself back down. We do that again. Press through the heels, tilt the pelvis, roll yourself up. Same thing, reverse, roll yourself back down. So as you take your time, be intentional. Zip up through the inner thighs, tilt the pelvis up. Roll inch by inch, squeeze at the top, and then fluidly reverse it back down to the bottom. Each time you roll, see if you can close your eyes and really notice the muscles working and attempt to create space between the spine. We have a few more. Really press the heels into the mat. So at this point, you'll feel this all throughout the body. We have our palms in. We are engaging through the triceps. The core is working as we roll up and down. And then we're also pressing through the heels, igniting the legs as we lift into a bridge. Last two. On this last one, roll all the way up, hold at the top. We have a slow pulse, so it'll be a lower lift, only an inch, lower lift. If you go to 2 inches, that's okay. Make it small, slow, and intentional. Give me 5 more. We have 4, 3, 2, last one, hold at the top. Ribs are still knitting in here. Keep your left glute and hamstring engaged as you begin to release right glute and lower right hip. Squeeze through the right side, lift, we switch it out. This time, left hip lowers as you release. Squeeze through left side, lift, lower right. Squeeze through right side, lift, lower left. Keep with that, slow side to side. You might notice the hamstrings and the glutes start to wake up a little bit more with this movement. Stay with it. This is definitely a stability challenge as we try to keep the pelvis neutral while lowering the hip. Really press and root through the feet. It's okay if the hip dips are small. It does not have to be a big, grand movement. We have a couple of more to each side. Last one to the right. Last one to the left. Hold and squeeze at the top. This time we lower and lift. A little bit bigger than before. Lower and lift, lower and lift. Keep the neutral pelvis, ribs knit in, zip up through the inner thighs. Press through the heels to really engage the hamstrings and the glutes. There's a lot working. At the same time, we still have the engagement of the arms. Give me a few more here. Last 3. Last 2. Hold and squeeze at the top, and then we roll down like we did as we rolled up. Feet are planted on the mat. Interlace the fingers and bring the hands behind the head. This time we'll walk the feet closer. Squeeze the inner thighs together inside of the knees and feet come together. We find neutral with our pelvis again. You can tick-tock back and forth to find what neutral is for you. Then we inhale here back on the mat. Exhale, lift, very slow. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Head heavy into the hands. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Ribs knit in. Zip up through the inner thighs. Try to squeeze the legs together. Perhaps you go for a 3 count down and a 3 count up. Move with intention. Move with precision. Just a few more. Last 2 here. Last 1. Lift yourself up and hold. Release the arms alongside the body. Start to pump the arms up and down.
Knit the ribs in, squeeze. And then we inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Keep with it. We're almost done here. You might be counting in your head. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep with it. Last 2 rounds. Last count. Inhale. Exhale. Hold, stop, lower yourself down. Head is on the mat. Bring the arms up, fingertips are towards the ceiling, and then lift your legs up. Begin to point through the toes here. We start with our right arm extended and left leg extended. Release, come back to neutral. Other side, left arm extends, right leg extends. Bend right knee, release to neutral. Switch again, right arm, left leg. Neutral, left arm, right leg. Neutral. Take your time. Perhaps you invite the 3 count back in. So you'll extend 3, 2, 1. Bring it in. 3, 2, 1. Other side. Bring it in. Keep with that pace. Really work to knit the ribs in. Try not to cone. You can close your eyes to cultivate on the mind-body connection here. We have a few more to each side. Last 3. Take your time here. Last 2. Heat is definitely starting to build. Last 1. Bring the knees in. You can grab your fingers, find a little rock left and right with the knees into the chest. We have one more exercise here and then we'll roll onto our side. So you have 2 options for the double leg stretch. You can either lift your upper body off the earth as you extend arms and legs and then come around and bring knees in, or you can keep your head on the mat, extend the legs into a V position, bring the arms overhead, sweep around and bring the knees in. So those are the 2 options for you. Set up however you would like. You can also start with one, see how you feel, and then maybe you go to the other. Again, try not to rush the movement. Abdomen is starting to get tired, so you might feel like you want to go a little bit faster. Try not to. Stay with me here. Keep the ribs knitting in. I would rather you bring your back and head down to the mat and keep moving instead of trying to lift and only doing a few reps. Last 2. Last 1. Squeeze it in. Give it a little rock, left and right. And then we start to roll over to our right. Our forearm will be on the mat. So for this next series, we will keep our knees bent in a supported side plank. So let's set up. You can either have a fist with right hand or you can bring right palm onto the mat. You'll press up and away so you're out of your right shoulder. Check in with your knees. Try to make a straight line, adjust as you need. Then when you're ready, lift yourself up into your supported side plank. Squeeze through your glutes. Knit the ribs in. You can have left hand on the hip. You can bring it up to the ceiling, whichever works for you. Then we have a little lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift. So just a slight hip dip down. We're not moving back, just up and down. Imagine there's a thread through your hips and someone is literally lifting you like a puppet. A few more. Last two. Last one, hold at the top. Now we thread. So if your left hand was on the hip, bring it up to the ceiling, and then we thread left hand underneath. Try to bring your chest to frame towards the mat. Unthread. We do that again. Thread it through, rotate, release, back to how we started. Keep moving here, there's a lot going on. So not only is our core keeping us stable, but we also have a lot of energy in our right arm to keep us lifted. Again, keep lifting up and away from the mat. We only have a few more here. Slow, intentional. You've got this. Last two. Last one. Lower the hip down, extend the legs. We keep ourselves propped up with our right arm as a kickstand. Now this time you can bring your left hand in front of you to a hip, wherever it works for you. And we'll start with some rainbow. So go ahead, point through the toes, zip up through the inner thighs. We will lift left leg and then tap the toes in front. Very slow, bring them to the back. Bring them to the front and to the back. Right shoulder's probably getting tired. Stay with me. If it feels like a little bit too much, you can always come down. Modify as you need. Try to gaze in front of you. I know it's hard. You want to look back at your toes. Try to keep the hips from moving. We want to try to only move throughout our legs. So if you're propped up, it's going to be harder to do that than if you're laying down. Last one, we keep the toes to the back, then we lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift. Keep with that. Find your breath. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we rainbow back to the front and we tap to the front. Lift, lower, and lift. This one might feel a little bit harder. Keep yourself lifting up and out of right shoulder. I'm shaking, you probably are too. Keep with it. We get a break shortly. Last 3, 2, and 1. You'll begin to lower yourself down, extend your right arm long, left hand in front of you. Begin to bring your left knee in towards the chest. As we extend diagonally back behind you. Bring it in, extend it back. Bring it in, extend it back. So this one's going to be even harder for us to keep the pelvis stable. Really engage through the core to try to help with that stability. Each time you extend the leg back, really squeeze through your glute. Just a few more here. For this expression, we keep the toe pointed the whole time. So we're switching it up from the flexion to extension. Last one here. Then we bring the knee in, Lower left foot. Engage through right leg. Lift right leg off of the mat. Lift a little higher, lower down. A little higher, lower it down. A little bit higher and lower it down. Try to keep engagement through outside of left leg to keep the knee up. Just a few more here. Last 3, 2, 1. Lower it down, release left leg. You can pat that side out. And then now we move over onto our hands and knees. So take your time, hands come out, shift yourself forward, squeeze through the glutes. Now it's up to you if you would like your hands closer together or farther apart. If they're farther apart, you'll work more of your chest. If they're closer together, you'll work more of your triceps. So it's up to you. You can also take an in between. Squeeze the glutes, ribs knit in, and then begin to lower down for your push-up and lift. Lower and lift, lower and lift. Remember, the slower you go, the more difficult it is. Let's go for 10. So we have a few more here. Last 4. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Lift yourself up. Now lower yourself all the way down. Untuck the toes and extend the arms behind you. Forehead to the mat. Palms are on the earth. Squeeze the glutes. Zip in through the inner thighs. We'll lift the head and the hands off the mat at the same time. So as you exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Take your time. Keep squeezing through the glutes. Keep the heels together. Halfway through. Try to move the head with the neck and the back at the same time. Last 3. Last 2. One more here. Then slowly release the head down to the mat. Walk the hands in underneath the shoulders. Press yourself back, child's pose. Take a moment. Deep inhales and exhales. Enjoy your break here. Then begin to press yourself up. We'll swing around to the other side. So this time we will be on our left side. Our left arm will act as a kickstand. We start with the knees bent. Try to find a straight line. Lift up and out of left shoulder. Find your alignment before you lift yourself up. Then when you're ready, lift the hips again. You can have your hand up or hand on the hip. We hold for just another breath. And then we add in our dips. Lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift. So each time you lift, you want to imagine that you're trying to shorten through the left side of your body. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely sweating. It's amazing what you can do with just body weight. A few more here. Ribs still knit in. Last 2. Last 1. We hold and then we thread. So you'll thread left arm underneath and release. Rotate. Release. Rotate. And release. If you're starting to slide like I am, you can always take a minute and adjust. Then get right back into it and keep moving. Give me a few more. We're almost done. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Arm is up, lower the hips. We keep the kickstand as we extend through the legs. This time you can lower your right arm. Again, you want to make sure there's engagement through both legs as you point through the toes. We find our alignment, then we lift right leg, and then we start with rainbows. Tap forward, bring it back, tap forward, tap back. So we have that challenge again on this side to keep the pelvis stable. Sometimes the second side is more difficult because we're fatigued. Other times it might feel a little bit easier because you already know what you're doing. You did it on the other side and now you're doing it on this side. We have a few more and then we have the isolated taps. Last 3, last 2, last 1, keep the foot behind you. We lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower. You can close your eyes if you would like, really focus on mind-body connection here. Cultivate the awareness of the muscles working. Last 3, last 2, last 1 here. We lift, bring it to the front, tap, lower, lift, holy moly, lower, lift, yes I know, lower, lift, keep with it. You got it. Yes you can. You can always come down onto the left side early or you can wait just a few more reps. Last 3. Last 2, last 1. And then lower the foot, we extend left arm. Find your positioning, then you'll bring your right knee in and extend right leg diagonally back. Bring the knee in, extend your leg back, squeeze through right glute, bring right knee in, extend back. So this is even more of a challenge to keep only the leg moving. Ribs are still knitting in here. You can use your right hand to help keep you stable, but try not to push too much weight into your fingertips. We only have a few more here. Last 2, last 1. We bring right knee in, plant right foot, engage through outer right leg, engage through inner left thigh, lift left leg, then lift a little higher, lower down. Lift, lower, lift, lower. Keep with it. Notice what's going on with your ribs, your abdomen, your core. Last 1. Lower left leg, extend right leg long. We roll over. This time we come into a sphinx. So you're on your forearms, roll shoulders up and back. Chin comes up, heels are together, squeeze through the glutes, zip up through the inner thighs. Now we'll lift into a sphinx plank. So press up, Separate the shoulder blades, fill the space, and then lift as you engage through the abdomen, knit the ribs in. Then you'll lower yourself down, find a sphinx. We do that again. Lift, engage through the abdomen, fill the space between the shoulder blades, release and reverse. Chin back to parallel, chin to chest. Fill the space between the shoulder blades, engage the abdomen, and release. Slow and controlled. Take your time. We have a few more of these. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1 here. Lower yourself down, forehead to the mat, arms alongside the body, this time palms up. Keep the engagement through the inside of the legs, keep the heels together. As you exhale, lift your torso and hands off the earth. Lower down. And lift. So same thing that we did before. This time our palms are facing up. Inhale as you lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. Yes, you can. We're almost done. You can do it. Last few here. 3 more. See if you can lift a little bit higher. Last 2. Last 1. Lower down, forehead to the mat, arms come underneath the shoulders. Press yourself back. Child's pose. Take a moment. Allow the breath to deepen. A little bit more work and then we are done. You'll begin to lift yourself up. We'll come back onto the forearms again. Tuck through the toes. Palms are planted. Lift, fill the space between the shoulder blades again. Then soft forward and back. So you're rocking forward and back on the balls of the feet. Keep it moving. Yes, you can. Last 3, last 2, last 1. Bring the knees to the earth. Keep your forearms down. Press through the palms. Lift yourself up. So we're using the triceps. Shift back, lower down. Press through the palms. Lift up. Shift back, lower down. Press through the palms. Lift up. Keep the ribs knitting in. Keep the abdomen engaged. We have a few more. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Shift back, child's pose. This time bring the palms together and find the tricep stretch variation. Thumbs come to the back of the neck. Deep inhales and exhales. Release the palms back towards the mat. Lift yourself up so you're on your hands and knees. You'll bring your right foot outside of right hand. You can shift the left knee back if you need. You are in a low lizard lunge. Take your time. You can rock left and right if you would like. You can stay here. You can find a twist, or you can go all the way into a quad stretch. Your choice. Many options for you for how you're feeling now as we close out the practice. And if you have your foot, you'll release. Wherever you are, we all shift back as we extend right leg. Half split here. The more that you bring the toes and the ball of the foot towards the leg, the more of a stretch you'll feel through the hamstrings and through the back. Release. You shift forward, palms to the earth. Extend the leg back, find some hip circles. And then right knee comes down, we go to the other side, shift forward, step left foot outside of left hand. You're in a low lizard lunge, you can rock left and right. You can take the twist, or you can go all the way into the quad stretch, your choice. If you have the foot in the quad stretch, release. We all shift back as we extend through left leg for a half split. Take your time. Then we shift forward. This time we'll kick our right leg through. Both legs are long. Find integrity through the spine. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold. Stretch through both legs. This time you might feel it all through the back as well. Then slowly release. We bring the soles of the feet together for a butterfly shape. You can fold over the inner thighs if you would like. Perhaps you use the hands as leverage. And then we have one more stretch. Lift yourself up, plant your feet. Hands come behind you. You can bring the fingertips out to the sides of the mat, or you can bring them in towards the body, whichever works best for you. Press through the heels, lift yourself up. We stretch through the abdomen, the biceps, the shoulders. Perhaps you feel it through the forearms. And then slowly release back down, and you are done with your body weight flow for the day. Go ahead, give yourself a round of applause or a pat on the back. That was definitely difficult with those slower intentional movements. If you enjoyed this flow, please be sure to let me know by hitting the like button below and leaving me a comment. I will see you soon. Thank you so much for flowing with me today. Have a great day.